Welcome to Hairy Steve's workshop. Hi there, it's Hairy Steve. I'm out in my workshop. I've got a bit of a cold, which is why I might sound a bit bunged up, and it's raining outside, so you can probably hear that in the background. But I just thought I'd show you, I've got one of the new Beier MSM-1 modules, and I'm going to plug it all in and see if I can work out how it all works. Okay, so I set up a basic program on the radio to control the functions on this module. You don't need anything more than either a proportional channel or a 3-position switch for this module. Basically, most of the functions are controlled by holding a switch in a position for a certain amount of time. So a lot of their functions are controlled by either holding it in for a short amount of time, which is usually less than a second, or a long amount of time, which is usually more than 2 seconds. And that usually turns the function on, and then you activate it again to turn the function off again. But we'll see how this unit works. I'm basing most of this on SFR1s and RC3s, but this may work slightly differently, but we'll see. Okay, so it's all set up and working. So it's all plumbed into the receiver there. So we've got the steering is on that servo there, and that automatically activates the indicators as well. And then we've got the throttle stick here, which is connected up to this servo, which as soon as you apply throttle, it starts the engine sound. And then when you've got the throttle, and then you have reverse as well. And it automatically puts the hazard warning lights on when in reverse. And as soon as you decelerate, it puts the brake lights on, which is the blue LED at the bottom there. So you've got extra functions. So, proportional channel 3 operates one of the horns in either direction, so there's 2 different horn sound effects there. And then proportional 4, depending how long he holds it in which position, you get either this or this, or if you hold it down, you've got this one, or if you hold it in the down position for 2 seconds, it activates a function called IR servo, which is something to do with the trailer module, which I haven't got plumbed in yet. So we'll come to that later on. The other side, prop 5, operates this in the up position, and then in the down position it activates this, or if you hold it, it turns the hazard warning lights on and off. And if you hold it up, it puts it in volume mode. You'll see a blue light come on the module. There you go. So when it's in volume mode, you can use that switch to turn the volume up and down remotely without using the pop. And if it stays the same for 5 seconds, it turns off and it sets that volume and saved it. You've also got lights, so up for a short amount of time turns on. That would be lighting output 1, and then for 2 seconds, and that operates lighting output 2, and then you push it the other way for a short amount of time, turns on lighting output 3, and for 2 seconds turns on the lighting output 4. All the other lighting functions are controlled by either the steering or the throttle channel, as I say, with the reverse lights and brakes and so on. So yes, it works very well. It's very easy to set up. I've just plugged it all in, put some power to it, applied the throttle, it starts up straight away. It'll idle for about 30 seconds and then shut down automatically. And then I've just got to work out how to change model modes now. So I'm going to read the instructions and I'll come back to you when I've figured out that one. Okay, so to change the mode on the module, you have to be quite quick at this. What you have to do is apply power and then operate the control function that operates prop 6 rapidly, at least 3 times, going from all the way up to all the way down again. So let's give that a go. So it should change. There you go. You can see the lights flashing inside there. and then you can use the switch for prop 6 to cycle between different modes. So you can see the lights changing colour in there each time I cycle through to a different mode. The flashing pattern changes, and this has 14 preset models in it, and then it goes through to solid. So different combinations of either solid or flashing lights tell you what mode it's in. So this is the first mode, which is mode 1, which is a truck. Now if you leave the module for 30 seconds, it will save that setting and it will default to that particular model setting that you've selected. So you don't need to do anything else to select a model once you've got the right pattern for it. You just leave the module alone, and eventually it will stop flashing and it will start up as normal. So we'll just wait for that. So there you go. So now that's in normal mode. So it starts up, all the lights work as before. So yes, it's quite easy to change modes. It's just a little bit tricky because you've got to plug the power into the module, and then within 3 seconds you've got to operate the switch 3 or 4 times, which is a little bit tricky when you're trying to sort of fumble around with it on a desk with a camera in the way and everything. But if you put an on-off switch in the line between the power and the module, which you can do, and they do suggest you do that, then it's fairly easy. You just turn it on, flick switch on the radio, select which model setting you want it on, and go from there. So while I'm here, I may as well select a couple of different models and we can hear what they sound like. So let's go for model 2. Okay, so that's model 2 selected. So let's hear what it sounds like. And it's got the standard horns. And so on. Let's hear what the shutdown sound sounds like. So that one sounds pretty good. Right, on to number 3. Okay, so that's model 3 selected, so let's hear what that one sounds like. And then it's got all the standard truck horns. So on. So let's hear what it sounds like when it shuts down. Okay, so models numbers 1, 2 and 3 are all truck sound effects. We've also got number 4, which is a car, and number 5, which is also a car. Number 6 is an emergency vehicle, number 7 is a tractor, number 8 and 9 are construction vehicles, number 10 is a tank, number 11 is a tank as well, and then number 12, 13 and 14 are all ships. So, the MSM-1, what do I think about it? I like it. It fills a gap. It's an easier to use RC3 in effect. It's got half the lighting outputs, which you can get away with on most vehicles. It's got all the sound profiles already loaded into it. You don't have to plug it into a computer to program it. It just works. You plug it in, you select the sound profile, and you use it. It's great. You don't need to faff around with it. The only thing is I wish it came with S-Bus support is the main thing. I think it would be great if they had S-Bus support. You could just plug one wire into the receiver into this. It would cut down all that wiring mess. But that's not a major thing. It still works fine as it is. It has got USB port on it, and they are bringing out USB support for it. I'm not entirely sure what that's going to involve, but you don't need it at the moment. It's fine. It works. They are bringing out a trainer module for it as well. I don't know when that's going to be available. I don't know how much it's going to be. This module on its own is $129.99 retail in the UK. You will need a few extra bits and pieces to go with it. You can't just plug it in as is and it'll work fine straight away. You could do with either an AKL8 or an AKL8W to plug in the LEDs into. You don't need to. You can solder them in if you want to, and if you're good enough at soldering. But the AKL8 makes life a lot easier, especially if you're using something like RC lab boards, because then you can just plug them all into the AKL8. If you're not using pre-resisted LEDs, you're best to get either pre-resisted LEDs or LED boards, or get an AKL8W, because it's got all the ports in it for plugging the resistors into, and you will need to resistor these LEDs before you can use them, otherwise you just blow them up straight away. The only other thing you will need is a speaker. You don't necessarily need the volume control pot. I fitted one just to see how it worked, but you've got the software control on there. You can use one of the channels on the radio to control the volume, so that's good. One less thing to worry about where it's going to fit, one less thing to buy. The cable for the speaker comes with the module, so all you need to do is buy a speaker. The one I was using earlier on is one of the 50mm 4-watt ones that Beier sell, and they do a little 3D printed housing for it, which it's quite a neat little housing actually. So that's one of these. So that's the 50mm speaker. That'll fit in most models. They do a 67mm speaker and a 37mm speaker as well. I don't know how they sound on this. I haven't got one here to test, unfortunately. But yes, I'm impressed with this. It's a good little module. For the money, you can't really go wrong, because there's not a lot of room in some of these models. And this it's a nice small unit. It's about 2/3 the size of an RC3. So that's quite handy as well. But yes, out of 2 thumbs, where would I give it? I would probably give it about 1.8. And the main thing for that is that it hasn't got S-Bus support. So the wiring's a bit untidy, but that's just me. This is a very good little unit for the money. Mostly because you don't have to program. It just works out the box. So, yes. If you've got a truck that you're working on, especially something you're a bit sourced on spacing, and you want a decent sound system for it, but you don't want to go through all the faff of programming it, get one of these. Thank you for watching my video. If you like what I do here, please subscribe to my channel. There are also some more videos for you to watch on screen, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.